Michael Gove, he's backing the Prime Minister. That's obviously welcome news for Theresa May. But do you think it will encourage other MPs to support her draft deal?
I'm not sure it will encourage them to support her draft deal. It might, at the moment, buy her some time. It's noticeable that he, in fact, was invited, as you saw in your clip, to support the deal itself. He refused to do that. So clearly he's willing to stay in the cabinet in the hope, perhaps, that there can be some tweaking of the deal to make it more satisfactory to Conservative MPs. But at the moment, it doesn't look as if she's going to be able to get enough support to get it through the Parliament.
And what about Theresa May's leadership? We've seen over a dozen of her own MPs saying publicly now that they've handed in letters of no confidence in her. How likely do you think that we will see a vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister?
Very, very difficult to tell. I mean, it needs 48 Conservative MPs to hand in a letter calling for a confidence vote in Theresa May. We've had a lot of MPs suggesting that they're thinking about it. Some have actually done it. But until the person responsible for counting up the letters, Graham Brady, another MP, actually has those 48 letters in his desk drawer or his safe or wherever he keeps them, we simply don't know. I think one of the risks for Conservative MPs who would like to see Theresa May gone is that they try to unseat her. They manage to get those 48 letters, but then she actually wins a confidence vote, because in that case, she is theoretically anyway safe for another year because they can't call another vote for 12 months.
But does anybody else in the party want the job? It's going to be hugely difficult to try to reunite what's now a very divided party and country.
Well, exactly. And I think that is why Theresa May is likely, I think, to survive for at least a few more weeks. Of course, the situation is changing hour by hour and day by day. It is simply not really credible to suggest that there is someone waiting in the wings who could perform the miracle of getting a deal to which the EU would agree with, and a deal that would also satisfy the Eurosceptic members of the Conservative Party. There is simply no miracle man out there, some man on the white horse who could ride in and make everything right. So at the moment, I think they're probably stuck with Theresa May and probably stuck with this deal. But once again, it simply looks as if the mathematics of the Parliament will make getting the deal as it currently stands through Parliament impossible. And yet we've also had a clear steer from the EU both yesterday and today that they are not willing to unravel this deal. So it looks like gridlock for the moment.
And speaking about mathematics, Tim, the DUP, of course, they're the party that Theresa May is relying on for propping up her government, really. Do you think that it's likely they may pull the plug? They're very unhappy with the draft deal and in particular the backstop mechanism.
Well, they are. And I think the key to the DUP's position is whether they can and want to separate support for the Conservative government as a government on the one hand, and on the other, their lack of support for the deal that Theresa May has negotiated. It doesn't necessarily follow, if they don't like the deal, that they will collapse the government. And the main reason for that is Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the Labour Party, who they regard as complete anathema. And I think the DUP worry that were they to pull the plug completely on the government, that might then trigger a general election. And it's possible that Labour could emerge as the largest party in that general election. And at that point, they would have someone they regard as a Republican sympathiser as Prime Minister. And I think that's something the DUP would still, I think, give them pause when thinking about what to do next.
OK, Tim Bell, Professor of Politics at Queen Mary University of London, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Well, in other world news, survive.